time someone asked me, Chris, how do we choose a breadfruit? I'd be a rich man. No lie. Here's the thing. I don't have access to an abundance of breadfruit. So when I do buy a breadfruit, I bring home the one that best satisfies me. So I can't really waste, and yeah, it will be a waste of money because I ain't trying to buy bad breadfruit. That said, once I'm in the Caribbean during breadfruit season, I will drop that video. But basically all you're looking for is something that's nice and firm, feels a bit light. It should be a bit lighter skin color, and this has been sitting in the fridge now for quite a while, so it's going a bit discolored. But yeah, that video, I really want to do that video, but not right now. Just break this down. So you'll need two knives. You'll need a bigger one like a chef's knife and a paring knife. But the base where the stem is, you would pop that stem off if it was there. Actually, let's make it even easier by cutting a flat surface. That rubbish, boom, that flat, nice and flat now, you see. Then we're just going to go down the center and we're just cutting it into wedges. Oh, lucky me, a nice creamy inside. You really can't see it because the lighting is all weird here, but you understand? Then what I'm going to do, put it back again. We're just going in wedges. So I've got 3 wedges here, and I'm just going to do the other one quickly. Then it's just a matter of taking your paring knife. We're going to take off the core, this sort of area here. Just going to cut that out. And that's going to go into the rubbish, and then we'll peel the outside skin. What I must mention, if this was a freshly harvested, you can use a paring knife as well. This was a freshly harvested, well, just off the tree breadfruit. That sort of, that white area that you see in there, that is the sap. That can irritate your hands, plus it can be very sticky. So if you wanted to coat your hands with some vegetable oil, rub that vegetable oil, because I'm on trying to encourage all it to be itchy and all kind of thing like that. And that's how simple it is, yeah? It's called boiled and fried breadfruit for a reason. We need to boil it. So after we peeled it and we washed it and everything else, what I'm going to go in here, the boiling part, I want a tablespoon of Caribbean green seasoning. I have a piece of Scotch bonnet pepper, seeds and everything, that I'm just going to toss in there. Now here's the thing, you don't need to add that because later on I will add some more when I refry it as well too. But may I suggest, if you like fiery food, if you like it a little spicy, add a bit in here, because what happens once we boil it, it's going to go deep within the breadfruit and not just on the surface when we refry it. But totally optional. I use Scotch bonnet pepper. Use your favorite pepper. I've got some scallion and I've got some fresh thyme along with the Caribbean green seasoning. Yeah, all I need now is some salt. And I like using sea salt. And I want a couple cloves of garlic in there. Just gonna hit that a little smashy smash with my knife, like so. Just gonna toss that in there. The skin goes in there, that is fine. I'm not sweating because at the end of the day, this liquid, the liquid that we're gonna boil it in, it can go into the rubbish. We're really using that. So in goes that garlic in there. Boom. I'm going to toss in 1 can of coconut milk. Now if you wanted to add some turmeric in here, you can add some fresh turmeric in there, or even the turmeric powder, or what we call saffron. It's been about 7 minutes and I'm just tucking them in deeper. I keep flipping the ones which are completely submerged onto the top ever so often. This boil and fry breadfruit takes me back to being in Barbados. If you have been to Barbados and you've been to Oistins, you would have encountered this, I would think, if you ate there. And it was served with grilled, what they call dolphin, which is mahi mahi. Yo man, ever since then, this here is a mainstay for me. You see this boil and fry breadfruit? Proper things. It's been 35 minutes. I'm just gonna take a paring knife, go down the center, no resistance. One more time, no resistance. What we're gonna do now, that liquid has done its thing. We're gonna drain this. And you have a couple options here. Well, 3 options. You can leave it whole as it is once we drain it, went to the next step to refry it, or you can cut it up into pieces, or you can smash it. I'm gonna cut it up into pieces just to make things easier for me, and that's the way I like it. I'm just allowing it to cool down a bit before I start working and cutting it up. So at this point, I have my frying pan here. I'm gonna go in with about 3 tablespoons of butter, and that is salted butter. Remember, we boiled the breadfruit in that infused coconut milk there, and it did have salt. We did add salt to it. I'm gonna add my onion. That butter is gonna start melting pretty soon, so I ain't really worried too much about that. I've got the garlic, I've got the Scotch bonnet pepper, scallion. It's on a medium-low heat. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. And I have here 1 chopped up seasoning pepper, which is also called a pimento pepper. And this is what it looks like, fresh out of my garden. Well, not fresh. You can tell by the stem it was picked a few days ago. But this is the seasoning pepper or pimento pepper. Adds a lovely flavor to everything. I'm just gonna turn my heat down to low and gently cook this along with some fresh ground black pepper. I'm not gonna add any more salt in here because we boil the breadfruit in that salt, plus the butter has salt. Everything is nice and soft now. That butter is flavorful. Now if you're doing this completely vegan, what I would recommend using, instead of the butter, you can use coconut oil or a good olive oil. Additionally, if you wanted to add some coconut oil or olive oil or vegetable oil to the butter, you can do that as well too. Totally up to you. Just gonna hit that a little tap. It is time now for all of that lovely coconut infused breadfruit. A recipe, as I said, inspired by visits to Barbados, one of my favorite islands in the Caribbean to visit. Oysters, whole are solid for this one here. Meat-free Monday. Hey, listen, vegan, vegetarian, I tell. There's all kind of lovely things in here, yeah, boy. You're gonna love this one. With some chopped parsley from the backyard there. Yo, you gotta love summertime in Canada. Well, any growing season. Because remember, it's summer all the time in the Caribbean, yeah? So if you want that herbal element there, you're always getting it nice and fresh from the backyard once your garden. Just gonna heat this through. I'm gonna give that a toss. And you have a couple options here. Once you heat it through and you infuse it with, you stir it and you infuse the breadfruit with the onion and everything else that we started off with there. If you wanted to add some bell pepper in there, you can do that. If you wanted to add mushrooms and whatever your thing is, you can add it, you know what I mean? But what I was going to say is, if you want to form a crust, I would crank up the heat just a little bit more and give it that little crust. Now if you wanted to roast this breadfruit and do the same thing, you can do that too. I have a version where I roasted the breadfruit outside on the I believe that version I use the coal pot that I have. That's a little shake. I roasted the breadfruit and then I fried up, or I stewed some saltfish and I added everything together. Mama, yo, you talk about niceness. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pod. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie. Just gonna quickly wrap this up for you guys. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you all in the kitchen with me. Another meat-free dish, another classic, you're gonna love this. I'm telling you, boy. Taste it for salt, adjust the salt at this point here. Decide whether you want a crust or not. That is totally up to you. I might want a crust, so I'm going to give this about 5 minutes. I'm going to crank up my heat. I just want to make sure all of the pieces are coated in that nice buttery base that we created there. I do hope you guys get an opportunity to make this one. Alright? Alright. What's up, soldiers? Don't forget to click subscribe. If you've already clicked subscribe, hit that bell notification thing. I want to all you missing out on the new videos, man. Come on, click.